बात यहाँ तक नहीं पहुँचनी चाहिए थी बानो। तुम्हें क्या लगा मैं डर जाऊंगा?
बात सिर्फ आपकी ज़बान की थी।
नहीं, पिछली बार तुमने कहा था कि तुम्हारी इज्जत की बात है।
हम अब्बास से बेहद प्यार करते थे, उसी प्यार से इस लड़ाई की शुरुआत हुई।
We are joined by former Chief Justice of India, D.Y. Chandrachud. Justice Chandrachud, thank you so much for coming and being part of this event. In fact, your take on this landmark Supreme Court judgment, which inspired this movie, and especially as it was your father, the illustrious Justice Y.V. Chandrachud, who led the bench which delivered this landmark judgment.
Coming here for the release of the movie has a personal resonance for me, and an emotional one is that, because the foundation of this movie was the judgment in the Shabano case, which was authored by my father, and he did that at a very great personal cost, because I remember after he retired, he was criticized all over for standing by the principle which according to him was the principle of equality enshrined in our constitution, that every segment of society, all women are entitled to the same rights under the law, and there can be no discrimination against women on the grounds of religion or caste or gender or any other ground. So coming here I think is very, very significant. I feel that it's a vindication of the view which my father took, albeit after 40 years. But times have changed, and I think we need to now stand by equal rights for women across the realm.
And for the first time, secular law, that is section 125 of CRPC, was used to allow maintenance for Muslim women, a historic step. And that had triggered the need for a uniform civil code in this country. What is your view on the uniform civil code?
In the Shabano judgment itself, the Supreme Court spoke about the need for a UCC, which is really an aspirational value which was reflected in the directive principles of state policy. Several judgments of the Supreme Court which have succeeded that judgment and after that judgment have spoken about the need to bring about a uniform civil code consistent with the constitutional tenets. So what the Constitution has that in that sense aspired is a stated value for all of our citizens. At the same time, I do believe that it's necessary to take all segments of our society into confidence in order to send the message that 75 years after independence, there can be no discrimination against any segment of our society on the basis of religion or caste or gender, and that there is one law which applies for everyone. And the same rights which are made available under the law, in this case it was the right to maintenance under section 125 of the then Criminal Procedure Code, must extend to every woman in society.
What more is required? What more reforms are like this section 125 application is required to bring in reforms irrespective of all religions? Women to end discrimination against women, which has crept into several religions.
Bringing about reforms is one thing, but I think changing mindsets in society is equally important. And the task of enabling a change in mindsets is a much wider project in post-independent India, of which we are proud citizens today. And I think therefore the task must begin from homes, from schools, to colleges, to workplaces, to the public realm, to political institutions. So the process of reform in that sense is not just a function of law, but transcends law, and in that sense is therefore a process of bringing about a change in perception, societal values and public opinion, which is of course something in which even the press, the electronic media has a very vital role to play.
Need for a UCC was spoken about in this particular judgment. Also twice the Supreme Court had stated about it later. I think there were also 3-4 High Court judgments which emphasize that there is a need for UCC, but I think there's no major way forward has happened, and nothing much has happened. What do you think is the hurdle for a UCC in India?
You see, I'm not sure about what the hurdle is because I'm not a lawmaker. Obviously, our lawmakers are conscious of that. And I do believe that, any change which takes place in society is change which is brought about in incremental steps with great deliberation. And therefore, while the Constitution has expressed this as an aspirational value, I believe our lawmakers are proceeding with a great deal of consideration, restraint, and the belief that we have to talk to each other, we have to convince each other, we have to persuade each other, tell each other that what we are trying to achieve in terms of a constitutional value is in the interest of society as a whole.
In fact, this movie is raising a question whether religion and equality can go hand in hand without any compromise. Your view?
Well, the Constitution does protect the right to practice, profess and propagate religion. So just as the Equality Code is a fundamental part of our Constitution, a part of the basic structure, equally, Article 25 of the Constitution, which extends to everyone, to you, me and everyone, is equally a part of the Constitution. So both must subsist, they must be read in harmony, and bringing about this balance is truly the great task for governance in India.
Okay, thank you so much for speaking to Times Now and coming for this event.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to Mirror Now.